and I'll share the link with you so that you will have it. All right, that's the link for this evening's class. And it is a public one, so it's available. It will be available to you when you click on that link. It is open and it is public. It's not private. All right, let's. All right, let's get this one going. All right, I'm gonna share my screen with you. All right, can everybody see my screen okay? Everything is okay? Well done. All right, a pleasant good evening, class of Steele. Today is the, what? I was just, what's today's date?
Today is 28th, sir.
Don't worry about it. I did the thing full screen, and because I did it full screen, I can't see the date on my computer, and I was looking for it, and I lost it. The 28th. The 28th, you said? The 28th today?
Yes, sir.
Today is the 28th of February 2022. Thank you so much, Adiola, for jumping in there. The 20th of February 2022, and you're welcome to this new session in the class of Steele. And we're looking at being open-minded and adaptive. What is necessary to survive in this increasingly dynamic world? I want to give a little bit of snapshot to the reason for today's class, this subject that we're going to be dealing with. And it's going to take us about 2 days, 2 sessions. The reason why we did this is, how many of you know what's happening right now? We're on the verge of World War III. How many of you know that? And observe that. And we're on the verge of a third world war. And it's interesting, if we study the mind of the aggressor, it would be interesting to identify there's a level of lacking in adapting. There's a level of lacking in adapting. And we recognize equally there is a lacking as well in open-mindedness. And as a result, we're going to be faced with a major world war. As a matter of fact, it is happening. It is currently happening. One of the things that I say to leaders in my mentoring all the time, I say to leaders, and I've observed it over my years as I've grown up. I used to teach junior church, guys that were 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And most of my junior church children, most of them, interestingly, very interestingly, are world changers, most of them, quite a few of them from out of Barbados. They're in government, they're in parliament, they're in high positions in the country. And I have a personal pride. One of them, Rihanna, the singer, she is a mega singer in the world, well known. And I've observed some things. These individuals have become my study guides. I looked at all of my students and I observed something about them from their youth. The ones that were troublesome, the ones that were very quiet and observant. And as I look at them, I discover that they are successful according to their temperament, their character. None of them, as the saying goes, fell far from the tree. When I looked at who they were in that age of 8, 9, 10, 11, and now I look at them, who they are at 35, 30, and you know, going into the early 40s, some of them, I observe, wow, so this is a reality that there are prophets that can look at you and tell you where you're going, and this is why. Because there's some fundamental characteristics you develop that are infallible. And you would find that older prophets tend to be more spot on when they make assessments. How many of you know some old men that they will tell you things, and when they tell you these things, you recognize, wow, that old man was so bang on. Well, the reason is because he observed the child, or he observed the behavior and recognized what's going to be the outcome of that. Now, if we look at the aggressor, as I mentioned, we will discover that the past is still controlling. The past is still controlling the future. And the present is not being embraced. The past is controlling the future, and the present is not being embraced. How many of you know that some individuals live their lives according to the past? You know what the past was heading and what it was like, and you are so fixated on the past that your current does not create any environment for openness for you. And it also does not even create an environment where you want to embrace it, because your future is going to be wrapped up in the dynamics that are governing your past. Are y'all getting what I'm saying? I hope I'm not speaking in parables. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Or should I spell it out a little more? If you understand me, wave your hand. If you don't, look at me like I'm lost. Like, it's okay. Okay, so let me kind of spell it out. Let's use the current situation with war and what's going on in Russia and Ukraine at the moment. Let's use it as a case study. All right, I'm going to have the privilege of using it as a case study before anybody else does. So let's use it as a case study. The USSR was around and it was separated. And I guess most of you would know that Putin was the now president of Russia, Putin. He was a KGB agent, all right? And here we have an environment where the past is still very, very strong in repairing the past. Repairing the past. We want a USSR, all under one rulership. The past is still there. And now currently, the dynamics are the European Union and NATO are not able to influence change or influence a better way of looking at the dynamics. Now, of course, individuals are going to have different opinions about what I just said. That's okay. For the sake of my teaching this evening, I just want to look at being open-minded and adaptive. What is necessary to survive in this increasingly dynamic world? And as a matter of fact, you could recognize survival is key because a lot of lives are going to be lost as a result of one man's decision not to be open-minded or adaptive. A lot of lives have already been taken, and a lot more are going to be taken as a result of his actions. Let's go on. Open mind, willingness to listen to or embrace other ideas or opinions. How many of us find it easy to listen? I'm not talking about hearing yet, talking about listen, willing to listen. Is your schedule in an environment where you're too busy, or are you still open to listening? Sometimes we get so busy and confident in where we're going and what's happening around us that we lose the ability to listen, the ability to say, let me hear what this person has to say, because we get busy. Embrace other ideas or opinions. Other ideas mean that the ideas that you have are okay, but you need to be in an environment where you embrace other ideas and opinions. Are you at that place? Are you comfortable to embrace them? Are you comfortable enough to sit down and see where possibly they can add value to you and to what you're doing? This is key. This is key that proves whether or not you're open-minded. And I want us to look at this because herein lies the problem that is starting a world war. Lack of open-mindedness or willingness to listen to other ideas and opinions. And a world war is being fought currently because of this lacking. Now you might say, oh, but I'm not that important in light of what I'm doing in the world, etc. But you are. You are very important and critical to a lot of decisions that are happening around the world. You are. And as a result of that, you as an individual need to be open-minded. You're going to be flowing in currency. Your financial status is going to be improved greatly. And a lot of times when individuals' financial status increases, they lose the ability to be open-minded. They lose the ability to embrace new ideas or opinions because they think to themselves, I have enough money. I don't need you. I don't need your idea. I don't need your thinking. I don't need your thoughts. So we have to create an environment where at this age in our lives, or stage in our lives, we're still able to be open-minded. I remember I was in a meeting, and I was, if I should use the term, my goodness, if I should use the term blasted, I mean, it was loud, it was hot, it was, I couldn't even believe the person had the audacity to speak to me in the manner they were. It blew me out of my socks. But I was quiet. I was listening. And I was trying to get a sense of wherein lies this person's anger to communicate with me at this level that I deem extremely unacceptable. Now, I could have walked away, of course, and I could have even raised my voice louder, but I chose to listen, hear, and revisit it. How many of you get what I'm saying? Listen, hear, and revisit it. As a result of that, interestingly, the respect the person has gained for me as a person has increased in an amazing way. That's one. Two, the value the person has for me as a person of character has also increased. But also, I saw what the person was showing me, and I adapted and I changed. And that also has added value to me. What am I saying? I was willing to listen. I didn't notice the storm. I didn't notice the fury. I noticed the words and the thoughts and the conversation that mattered most. And when I did, I changed and I became a better person. And as a result of that, improved and increased status. Adaptive thinking. The ability to recognize unexpected situations quickly and consider various possible responses. The ability to recognize unexpected situations. When you're in a position where you're adaptive, you recognize something that is unexpected. But not just you recognize it, you find that you're able to deal with it, to process it, to embrace it, to maneuver yourself accordingly. How many of you know that as you drive in Nigeria and Africa, some Africa too, you drive on the left side of the road? Well, how many of you know that if something is in front of you, stop while you're driving, you have to pull over to the right, correct? So you're adapting. You don't run straight into it and smash into it. You pull to the right and keep going, and then you pull back in. What did you just do? You adapted. You did not drive straight and get out of your car, stop behind the car. What are you doing parked on the road? This is the way for vehicles to go in. If you're not moving, you move your car, you get all hot-headed and angry. No, you adapt. You come out, you pass, and you move on. Life is like that. You need to learn to adapt and consider various possible responses. So to adapt, make suitable for a new use or purpose. So now you are looking at a situation and you're recognizing, you know what? I can position myself in a better way. I could do this in a different way. I can change my course of action, but in a positive way, conducive to the success that I was still expecting. It's just going to be tweaked a little bit. It just means that I'm going to have to tweak a little bit of things and become more suitable. It's a suit that you're putting on, so you're suitable. become adjusted to new conditions. How many of you know, so if you might leave home in the UK is very interesting. You learn to adapt very quickly in the UK because our weather here in the UK makes you learn to adapt. when I first came to the UK and the rain was falling, how many of you know that? I can't say for you guys, but in the islands, when the rain is falling, that's the day to stay home. When the rain is falling, you sometimes you stay home because rain it's not, something that is expected in Barbados. We don't get rain that much. So, when you get rain and it's flooded, things are on a standstill. Here in the UK, the rain falls every day sometimes. Every day. So you don't even need your umbrella sometimes. So you have to adapt. So when you come here and it's raining and it's freezing cold, you don't think, well, I'm not going to work today. It's freezing cold and it's raining. No, you have to adapt. Why? Because it's a different environment, and it's a different structure, and it's a different mindset. You can't go to the boss and says, boss, it was raining cats and dogs today. My goodness, that's why you didn't see me. I'll see you tomorrow. The boss is going to think you're crazy. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. So you learn to adapt. According to where you are, you adapt. Okay. Being open-minded, not quick to judge. Don't be quick to knock an opinion. Don't be quick. Don't be quick. A lot of times someone would give you an opinion or a thought, and we get sometimes rushed to give our own opinion and nullify what they were going to say. Sometimes we can find ourselves quick to do that sometimes. But I want to share with us, it's not a good ethos or a good way of thinking. Don't be quick to judge why a person said what they said or why a person gave an opinion that they gave. Don't be quick to judge them. Be very quick to listen. Be very quick to try to understand, but don't be quick to judge, because the reason the person is telling you what they're telling you might be for your own good. It might be for your own success as well. So don't be quick to judge negatively and lose the opportunity to gain some valuable insight. When a person is open-minded, they want to learn about life. You want to learn. My wife and I have been, over the past couple of weeks, studying Google Earth. How many of you have ever used Google Earth? How many of you have ever used Google Earth? One person? Oh, not many of you. You need to. So let me actually, I'm gonna stop this slide. I want to show you something that is gonna help us as we go forward. I want to show you something. Let me stop this screen share. And I want to show you something that is going to be helpful to us. All right? Because I think that sometimes we have opportunities that can be an advantage and we don't even recognize it. So let me try to see something. I want to show you something. I want to share something with you. And the reason why I want to share this with you is because most of you might not be aware of it. And if you're not, that's all right. let me share this with you. So I'm going to share my screen again. How many of you could see my screen? You can see my screen, yeah? Okay. So this is Google Earth, all right? And it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. That's the truth. It is very phenomenal. And as a matter of fact, as you guys are going to become globally relevant, this is a tool that you guys are going to need to know as well, because it's a very useful tool. So let's look at something here in the midst of our teaching today about adapting. Google Earth, all right? Let's look for a place. Somebody type a place inside of the chat for me. Type a place, and I'm going to go to that place. Just type your address. Type an address. Anybody, just give me an address. Any address that you want to type in. Dr. Charles, send me an address. Let's kind of play this one by ear. All right. Any address anywhere in the world. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you, is because it's interesting to observe. All right. It's very interesting to observe. All right. Is that the area, Dr. Charles? You can see the screen. Dr. Charles, is that the area? Unmute yourself,
Yeah.
Dr. Charles.
22 Wase Road.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
I'll show you something better. Let me see if we have. Let me see if I can take you. Okay, so so your area is not mapped that I can come down there.
I can see the name of the school there. Yes.
So I'm
that's the name of our school.
But I wanted to go down. It wouldn't take me. It wouldn't take me down because I think that yours is blocked from being able to come down inside of it. I don't think it is allowing. It is allowing. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's see. Here we go. Let me see. It says no street data is available. All right, but why I'm showing you this is because you can have a sense of where you are going, and you would also recognize what it is like in that area. Let's look at another place here in Ghana. All right, I'm gonna go for another place in Ghana. And I want you guys to kind of use this tool and look around the world. Okay, so this is in Ghana. Is that correct? Bishop Comfort, that's your area? Let's see if Ghana allows us to go down. Yes, Ghana allows us to go down, but only at the street level. Okay, so this is Ghana right here. Bishop Comfort, is this your area, Bishop Comfort? Unmute yourself, Your Excellency.
It's not quite.
But this is the region, is that correct?
Yes, please.
Of course. And look at it nice and clear. Look at that. There are only some streets that they have highlighted, so you know where you're going and you know where to put that you're going somewhere in an area. All right. I really want you guys to understand what I'm sharing with you. There are tools available that help you to be able to identify where you're going, have a look at the environment, the culture, etc., so you understand it. Let me see if I can take you to my home. Let me take you to my home. I'll take you to my home in Barbados. And this is all part of the class, by the way. Please, this is part of our class. Now, let me show you something. In the world map, if you look where I'm from in Barbados, you can't even see it showing up. It doesn't even reflect because it's so small and it appears insignificant. But let me take you in. Let me take you into my island, Barbados. This is my island, Barbados. This is where I was raised in Barbados. And let's look at some 3D. And let's look at some areas. And I will show you the street. I'll show you the street where I was raised. This is the very street where I was raised. So let me type it in for you. So I was called the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because I was raised in Bel-Air. And this is my street where I was raised. Okay? Is that Bel-Air? Wait a minute. That doesn't look like my Bel-Air Road, Bel-Air, Barbados. Let me see. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is my area in Barbados. Okay, it's not going to allow us to go any further. You can drive around and you can see different areas in Barbados. All right. And this is Sam Lord's Castle. I was raised near to Sam Lord's Castle. Oh, instead of Bel-Air Road. Okay. Okay, the wife was just telling me exactly. So this is my playground in Barbados when I was a little kid, Sam Lord's Castle. Okay. But why did I share this with you? Am I sharing this with you to show off or whatever? No. I want you to appreciate there are tools that are out there that help you to know where you're going, and they work. They are very credible tools. And if you are a person who wants to improve and advance yourself in this very dynamic world, you need to be up to date with those tools that can help you. So Google Earth is one of those very critical tools that you could use. As a matter of fact, there are countries around the world that when you go to Google Earth and you recognize that these places are there, it will blow your mind. The distance it is from land and different places, but how beautiful those places are. Because a lot of people, they just want to go to Europe. I just want to go to the UK. I just want to go to this country or that country. But the world is a beautiful place. And if you want to know how beautiful the world is, go on Google Earth and just sit down in a spare moment and look around. Just look around. Intrigue yourself before you visit that country. Go and look at that country. Some persons want to go to Dubai. Instead of just thinking, I want to go go on Google Earth and go to Dubai. Just type in Dubai and go to it. And go to the cities. You don't need to go to YouTube or anywhere. You just go to the city yourself and walk around the city. That's what exists. There it is. That is what exists. This is the city. Come on, wave at me if you guys are seeing what I'm showing you. Wave at me. Wave at me. It's right there for you. And you're able to go and look and learn about the world yourself. I've visited some cities that when I go there, I know the city almost as if it's the back of my hand. Why? Because before I left, I did my research. I went and I Googled the city. I looked at the address that I'm going to, and I went and observed. Okay, I think I have belabored that point enough. Now let me get back into my class. Let me go back to our class today. All right, from the current slide. Okay, was that helpful to anybody? Does anybody have any questions for me on that? That was helpful, or is everybody okay? Are there any questions on that section that we just looked at, or everybody's okay? All right, I'm going on. So we see that wants to learn about life. When you're open-minded, you want to learn. So you make time to learn. You have to, because it's going to take you time. And you have to find that time to learn and just observe. Go on Google Earth and explore the world. Look at Australia, how huge Australia is. My goodness. Australia has, I think it is 3 or 4 time zones when we did our study on time zones, because it's that huge. There's more than 1 time zone in Australia because it's huge. It's a huge continent. You're observant. So when you go, you look at places, and when you go on Google Earth, it will help you to know places that are dangerous and places that are going to end up nowhere, because they're landmarks that don't change. All right. So Google Earth is very good for when you're going to travel, to know where is safety and where is not. You're level-headed. And look for reason and solution. You become very level-headed when you're an open-minded person. Why? Somebody says to you, go and study a little bit about this place and get back to me. You don't get angry. How do you mean go and study? Am I a big man that I need to go and study at this age? No. Go and study. Learn a new tool. Observe it, how to use it. And as you use this new tool, surprise yourself. His Excellency Olukoya just came back home from, a trip. And he has the ability now to go on Google Earth and walk through the streets where he took a journey. His Excellency Dr. Ewers and myself, we could walk through streets together and laugh because we were there. This is where we were. This is the hotel where we stayed. And this is what it looked like. And you could see it. It's there. So you're level-headed and you're calm. You're honest. When you become open-minded, you're more honest, because to be honest with you, if I should say the term, pardon the pun, no pun intended, but to be honest, when you become open-minded and you realize it's harder to lie. How many of you know that when you have more tools, it is very hard to tell lies? No one can tell me the bank that is the building that is next to another building. I can say to them, which building are you talking about? Oh, I'm talking about the central bank. The central bank? You're talking about in Dubai? Where? Look right opposite the central bank, it's there. And I'm sat there on Google Earth, and I'm on Google Earth and I'm looking at the buildings that are there. And I'm saying to you, no, that's not true. Of course, if it is a up-to-date Google Earth, you still need to be resourceful to know when you're looking at it, if it is there or not. But you become more honest, because you recognize that telling lies is not going to be an easy thing to do. When you know what we know in the circles that we're in, you find it very difficult to tell lies. How many of you know that some levels in life you get to that you realize lying is for fools? Wave at me if you get what I'm saying. I can see you. I can see you on the screen. Lying is for fools when you get to certain levels in life, because you can't be dishonest. You can't be telling lies because it's easy to prove or disprove. You're not easily offended. When you become open-minded, you're not easily offended, because you see things through different eyes. You understand things better. So you're not easily offended, because you recognize you're ever learning and you're ever expanding and increasing in your knowledge. So you don't become offended very easily. You're sympathetic. An open-minded person is sympathetic. Why? Because he takes the time to listen. Takes the time to listen and hear and observe and want to do something positive in light of what he observes. Comfortable being maverick. Very comfortable. You're not worried. You're not intimidated. It's okay. Problem solver. You learn how to solve problems. You find solutions, because you recognize that open-mindedness gives you that capacity to find a way out or find a solution. Open-mindedness. An open-minded person gives of their time. They take time. They're open-minded. Why? The reason why you give of your time when you're open-minded is because you're going to be expecting an exchange. How many of you know that if you walk through the city and you see a beggar and you stop and you give him your time, talk to him or her, and there's going to be an exchange. You're going to receive knowledge of understanding why some people end up on the streets. It will shock you to know that everybody that's on the street is not evil. Everybody that is on the street didn't do something wrong. Sometimes people are on the street because something wrong happened to them. How many of you get what I'm saying? Minister, you always know exactly what I'm talking about. There are persons that are on the streets that they were wronged, and they don't have any other options. When I go through London and I see persons out of the European Union, since Europe has changed and the UK has returned from out of the EU, I can assure you, I've seen a lot of homeless people on the streets. That breaks my heart, because the changes that have happened, they've been disqualified. And now they're stranded in the UK and nowhere to go. I've seen it. So you get an exchange. which country they come from, why are they there, what happened, and you learn because you give of your time. You're a good conversationalist. You develop the ability to ask more questions and give more answers, dialogue better. When you're open-minded, you have patience and time to engage others, appreciative of people and their views. You learn to appreciate people and their views. Humorous and youthful. My goodness, I think one of the greatest thing about being open-minded, one of the greatest tenets of proof of open-mindedness is a sense of humor. Some people are so serious and they're not open-minded, they're rigid, they can't have a laugh, and they find it difficult to chuckle and joke. They're not youthful, they're not playful. They're appreciative of nature and the arts. If you want to get to a place of being open-minded, and I just gave you a tool, Google Earth, my goodness, go and look at some countries and see the architecture and to see the nature, the natural sites and everything that is there. My goodness, it will bless your heart. It will bless you. And they're not averse to change. Not averse to change. Being open-minded, you evolve. You evolve. What do I mean by you evolve? I want to explain a little bit about what I mean directly by evolving. You become a better equipped, better minded, more confident person when you are open-minded. You become bigger than life, larger than life. People will ask me about places in the world that they're not even on the map. They're not on the map, but I know about them. Why? Because I was curious, and I looked and I sought and I recognized, oh my goodness, this one is a Spanish territory. Oh, the Portuguese settled this one. Ah, this one was settled by the British. Ah, so this is what those 70 countries are up to. And I learned. So this is the treaty that was done in 1975. That's why this land belongs to the British, because of this agreement that they signed. Are you with me? You evolve. People find you to be very intelligent. Why is it? It is because you're in the classroom of life. You're in the classroom of building and equipping yourself to be better. You know more. You understand more dynamics. A lot of individuals are hearing about sanctions and everything that are going on right now. How many of you have studied sanctions? As a matter of fact, based on who I am in certain circles, I get immediate updates by email about sanctions. Any person in the world that is sanctioned from Europe or the UK, I get an immediate update. Immediately the person or the country is sanctioned, I get an email because I'm plugged in to receive updates on sanctions and countries or persons that are sanctioned. Now you might say, oh my goodness, why is that important? Well, let me give you a little bit of simple update on why it's important. I deal in financial management, and we look at persons who are bringing projects on the table for us to invest or finance those projects. Now, if a country is sanctioned and there are sanctions against that country that you can't do business with them, then I have to be equipped with the knowledge to say, we can't do business with you, I'm sorry. And they might say, but why? And I'll say, because of you being sanctioned. And they might ask me, but how do you know I was sanctioned? Because that's not public knowledge. I'll say, because here's the sanction number, and here's the reference, and I can send it to them. So I need to be equipped to know who's sanctioned from who's not sanctioned. Equally, as an architect Olusegun Olukoya needs to know changes and trends that are needful in technology that are being implemented in structural development currently, because there are going to be changes that are necessary and he needs to know them. So he has to keep studying. He has to be a part of the fraternity of architects so that he is equipped and he evolves as the process of architecture evolves globally. Equally, in your subject, you also need to evolve. Think critically and rationally. Sometimes because of evolution or the changes or the different dynamics that have been added as a result of the dynamics that we're faced with, sometimes individuals lose the ability to be rational. What's that? You see the first lady, she comes and she gives me points and she says, don't look at me. But of course I have to look at you. You're the teacher. What's Put it in the chat to me privately. That's what to do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you see? You can put it in the chat to me private. Oh, bless her. So I'm sorry. So sometimes we look at those dynamics and we recognize that we become rational. You're able to be more rational when you have information. You don't have arguments that are irrational. A lot of individuals, sometimes they're strong and wrong. How many of you have known some strong, wrong people? They're arguing strong and pointed, but they're wrong because they have not evolved. They're behind time. They don't know what's current and what's relevant. Step out of your comfort zones. When you're open-minded, you know how to step out of your comfort zone. You step out of it. We've been talking about stepping out of comfort zones already, but the open-mindedness helps you to do that. Step out of your comfort zone. You welcome and embrace new ideas, discussions, information, and solutions that you would not normally see or notice. Change outdated or incorrect beliefs. I'm going to stop here. And when we come back on Wednesday, I'm going to start from step out of your comfort zones. When we start back on Wednesday, I'm going to stop there. I've got a couple more slides to go, but I think I want to stop there for today based on time. And we will revisit this on Wednesday. All right, we'll revisit this on Wednesday. But I want to open discussion. I want to open the floor to some discussion. What is your take on what we've shared thus far? And what is your take home? I'm going to start with you, Stephen. Stephen Abu, unmute yourself. What is your take home from what we've dealt with this evening?
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening.
Your Excellency, Dr. Michael Steele. Good evening. Thanks for this wonderful open-mindedness. I want also to greet, first of all, the GOC, Her Excellency Jenny Steele. I also want to greet Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfortado, Her Excellency Zionist Corey, Her Excellency Margaret Ahmed, Her Excellency CEO Doreen, and His Excellency Dr. Donald Euros, His Excellency Dr. Charles Onyeshki, His Excellency Architect Olukoya, Her Excellency Adiola Olukoya. I just want to say, sir, that this is really making good sense to me. I being open-minded and adaptive to situations. It's placing me on a hot run. That's it's saying it's throwing out some few things to me that I need to open up myself to be able to appreciate and to get to the real core of situations around me so that I'll be able to understand, I'll be able to be a solution to them, to those things that are occurring. That if I don't create an environment of open-mindedness and look at issues from a better perspective, I won't be able to look at them. I'm able to appreciate and find solutions to them. And you really opened my mindset. To be open-minded, I have to be sympathetic, not easily offended, be calm, be comfortable, be maverick, be a problem solver. Look at situations, that will help me. Tonight, I will still run through it tonight and see how better, how get more information from what has been you have taught, sir. I'm very grateful tonight, sir. I'll keep on listening, and I also listen to my elders as they speak and as they go on, sir. Thank you, grateful Father. I'm grateful, Your Excellency, for this. And I am Abu Stephen. I look forward to hearing and to learn, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Reverend Steele. Thank you very much. Dr. Charles, please unmute yourself. Your Excellency, Dr. Charles, unmute yourself. Dr. Charles Ayechi.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening. Well done.
And the excellence, all the excellencies in the house, please, I have to run because my internet connection is giving a problem. So I go straight. Every protocol in the house observed. So, sir, what you just did, in fact, you opened my eyes to this Google Earth. We had a program, an anniversary program on 2017, and we invited a white lady from California, US. And when she came, we were discussing. She told me how everybody told her not to come to Nigeria. But she said that they were watching us, monitoring us. That every Sunday we had Sunday services, that they were watching us. So I was wondering what happened until you opened my eyes to this Google Earth. And I discovered that was the technology they were using in US since. Even before they granted her a visa, I had to send a copy of my international passport and write undertaking that I was going to be in charge of her security. But I didn't know that they went ahead to survey the areas, even see us, whether we are fake or not, before she's able to come. So this being open-minded, you talked about, this world is very, very dynamic. Except one, be open-minded, you will be left behind. And if you are left behind, you are gone. So thank you, Your Excellency, because this being open-minded, we help us to adaptive thinking. And when we are adaptive thinking, you won't judge people from what you hear about them. And you will be able to decipher the reason why one does this or that. And I think if we are open-minded, we will be tolerant to one another. And this world will be a better place for us to live. I think I will stop so far. I am still Ambassador Dr. Charles Onyechi. Bless you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, Dr. Charles. And one thing that I will share, why I shared that is you don't have to wait until you go to Barbados to see what Barbados is like. when you go to Google Earth and you go through Barbados, those of you that are especially are in Nigeria, I'll challenge you. When you go through Barbados and you look at the houses and the streets, and you see the people that are on the streets that Google Earth would have caught, it is going to surprise you. It's going to surprise you how similar we are, how we're diverse, but we're similar. As a matter of fact, if some of you go through Google Earth and there's some slums in the UK that I can share with you, I can promise you, if as a matter of fact, let me unmute Her Excellency Zionist Amaka Curry. Your Excellency Zionist, you know, if we show individuals some of the slums that are in the UK that are worse than some of the areas that they live in, they'll be surprised to think, is that the UK that? Your Excellency Zionist, what is your take on what we shared today?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this opportunity. It's nice to see you again. I think you've been away for a month, if my calendar is right. You've been away for so long and we miss you. So it's nice to see your face once again. And thank you so much again for the opportunity. I start by acknowledging everybody in the house, starting with the First Lady, Excellency, who effortlessly put together very beautiful studies for us. Greeting your First Lady, and God bless you in your endeavors. Your Excellency, Bishop Dr. Michael Steele, it's nice to see you again, our mentor. Looking good, smiling good, and growing younger always.
Oh, I'm gonna shave. I'm soon gonna shave. Get ready to shave. Shave is coming off.
No, leave it that way, please. It's good. I want to acknowledge Her Excellency, Bishop Dr. Comfort Edu, Her Excellency, our COO, Doreen Burungi, Her Excellency, my sister, Adeola Olukoya, and all the Lady Excellencies in the house. And I also want to acknowledge, I'm not sure if His Royal Majesty is on the line because I can't say very much, but if he is, I acknowledge him with a warm greeting, and if he's not, he will see this recording. I also want to acknowledge our Chief of Protocol, Dr. Donald Hughes. Greeting, Your Excellency, and my mentor, whom I've not heard from or seen for so long, His Excellency, Architect Olusegun Olukoya. Greetings to everyone, and His Excellency Stephen Abu, and His Excellency Chukwuemeka Okechukwu, if he's online. Greetings to everybody, and if I've left anybody out, my apologies. I love you all, and my greetings go to all of you. The lecture this evening is very, very, it's one that I find myself highly interested in. And when you began, Your Excellency, you did mention the issue, the political turmoil we're having right now, and the leadership mindset, which has unfortunately brought us to where we are right now. This subject, if in hindsight, this subject was delivered to this leader and some of the leaders, perhaps they might have a rethink of their strategic implementation of certain decision. Adaptive thinking, from your definition, tells us is that it is the ability to recognize unexpected situation quickly and consider various possible responses. To be an adaptive thinker, for somebody to get to that point, Your Excellency, this is my take, for somebody to get to the point where they will recognize unexpected situations very quick and very considerate with various responses, there must be a learner, like you said. Being adaptive entails wanting to learn to improve oneself, to learn the people, to learn the culture, to learn the context, to learn the economy, and also to learn regionally, the international relationship, to learn what is modern and what is antiquated, to learn that empire rise and empire dies, to learn that the two things that is ruling the world, from my own opinion, is technology and humanity. Technology and humanity have wafted together now to create a voice that can bring any leader down. So we see what is going on globally now, that other people from other countries are willing to get on the plane to go and fight. Because whatever happens to one happens to other. We don't want war, period. We want dialogue. We want democratic dialogue. And so when leaders fail to take this on board and believe that their muscle power in destructive machinery is going to give a solution, guess what? I won't be surprised if the whole world go to Ukraine and say, no, what, we're going to fight because this is our time, this is our generation. And so because there's that lack of adaptive thinking means that one failed to harness advantage in changing times, fails to harness opportunity that are so crucial or that can be critical in enhancing leadership role, in enhancing one's career. Now, I bring this home a little bit because from home I go out. As a parent, whether I have one child or two child, there is nowhere more critical in having this ability to be adaptive in my thinking and being open-minded than bringing up my children. And by my children, I add other people along with me. And so I must have these two tenants to be able to function effectively, to be able to be a critical and rational thinker. So Your Excellency, thank you very much for the opportunity. If you bring it back home and help to refresh my mind and help to keep me on my toe on the tools that are needed for me to be able to move forward, to go forward, to flow with time rather than being static, rather than being myopic in my thinking, rather than thinking that I can live in an island and survive without orders. These tools are critical, whether in work situation, whether in business, whether between friends, even between friends. When you give an example of your encounter with somebody who came at you with so much word, you listen to them, you heard them, and you adapt to the situation. You were not defensive. There was an aspect of humility. There was an aspect of, I am keen to hear what you say, even though it is hurting me. And you put all that together, you take something out of it, and you make better situation out of an ugly situation, like our leader is doing now. I mean, if sanction is helping to contain him, surely he could have turned that around on Ukraine and find a means to contain Ukraine without actually going to war, without invading them, without disrupting. He could have done that very, very, people read about policy and strategic study. And sometimes I'm wondering with some of our leaders, where does that strategic thinking goes to? What's happened to it? And so open-mindedness allows a fresh thinking perspective. I think the best animal that does that is the chameleon. The chameleon is very, very adaptive. The chameleon is so open-minded because with every situation, wherever they are, even when they come out of their jungle, they know what to do, how to adapt, to evade being dictated. So animals can do this thing very well. Jellyfish and stingrays and all the rest, they know how to be adaptive, and they know how to. Seahorse, I mean, if you're friendly, seahorse will come to you. The dolphin, if you're friendly, they'll come to you, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, we who have got the power, the thinking machinery in us, fail to utilize this very beautiful tool because, I suppose, because we are just not patient enough selfish, wanting an utopian world that will never, ever exist, except we go with Elon Musk, maybe. So, Your Excellency, thank you for giving me this opportunity to refresh my mindset. My name is Zioness Amaka Jejinakere. Great you all.
Thank you so very much, Zionist. And I think you definitely need to speak with me immediately after this class, Zionist, because you are in position for a trip. That's very important. So I hope you communicate with me immediately after this class, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Excellency.
Hey, thank you so much. And by the way, you're looking refined yourself as well. Don't think I'm gonna walk away and not be observant. You're looking very refined. Well done, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, Doreen Burunji, our COO, and then I want to hear from His Excellency Olusegun Olukoya after Doreen. Your Excellency, Doreen, our COO, please, what's your take on today?
Good evening, Your Excellency, Dr. Michael Steele. Good evening,
evening.
Your Excellency. Good evening, Your Excellency, Jenny Steele, and all the excellencies in the house. Thank you so much for a wonderful topic, open-minded. The description, I just want to go through the description. I'll just add a little bit, saying willingness to listen, to embrace others' ideas and opinions. But also there is open-minded to behavior, to character, and to culture. So, for example, like in my country, we have over 45 languages, African, Ugandan languages, 45. And of course, there are those, and we have to find a national, local language that can unify us, all of us, besides the international language, which is the British language. We are colonized by the British, so we speak English, but we have 45 local languages. And so you find that to relate with different cultures, it's not easy. People don't want to, for example, to intermarry. You find people don't want to they have nepotism at work. They have tribalism at work. You find one language over, one tribe is probably the one ruling for a long time, and the others are suppressed, and other languages now begin to adopt into that language that has power. So, like, for example, our current president is Nyankole. He has been president for over 40, coming to 40 years. And now you find that because everyone wants to enjoy the national bread, you find that they have to learn the language. They become Banyankole. And so if you're coming from a different tribe, it becomes difficult for you to access the national bread. So you find that there's a lot of domination of culture, and it keeps growing, and people start embracing it. So you find if we go, like Africans, if we go to Europe, you find that we have cultural shocks. I went to Dubai last year, and what I saw, there was a culture shock. How people dress, how people behave, and you're like, hey, how can you walk out like this, a woman? How can you dress like this? You're like, I cannot, even if I stayed here for 10 years, I will not convert into this kind of culture. So you find that culture shocks, culture, open-mindedness helps you to actually grow in opinion. You grow, you accept people's opinion, people's ideas, but it's a process. It's really a process for you to accept. For example, the Black people who are in the European countries, you find that they're not living so comfortably with the white people. They're always around the Black people, whether they are from Uganda or Ghana or Nigeria, but for as long as they have the same skin color. So you find that you feel comfortable with your fellow Black, the culture. The other day I went to China, and I was in Hong Kong, I was in Beijing, and I could walk streets and streets and streets. I'm not able to find a Black person. I was sick. I lost a lot of weight. I entered a train with the Chinese. I was going from Beijing to Shanghai, and I could not be accommodated in a cubicle because I was Black. The people in the cubicle could not sleep, could not eat. I felt so suffocated. I couldn't sleep either. So I had to climb down my decker and just go to stand in the corridor until I got to Shanghai. And guess what? Do you know which people came to speak to me? And these were the open-minded young kids, young youth. These were the open-minded people between 18 and 23. Anyone that was above, the one who is already working, wouldn't want to associate with my skin color. So it's a big topic, and it speaks a lot of words. It's not easy to be open-minded, but if you give a chance to open-mindedness, you can actually have power. You can get, you can be exposed to so many things. You learn and accept and say, wow, you learn and add value to your knowledge and the way you do things. Like, I came to the class of Steele. I've met everyone here, and my mind is open-minded. I can now have a conversation with people in the West, very comfortable to this culture through the class of Steele. And I just get a sample of what is in the UK. I get a sample of what is in Ghana, Nigeria, and I'm like, okay, I can now know how the Nigerians live and how they talk, and how I will not be, my mind is open-minded. So I want to say, I do things better than before. So the topic is good. People should embrace open-mindedness, but it's a process. Some people refuse. Like, you find people who have never left their country and gone to just a neighboring country. They only know what is within their reach. If you try to expose them to something else, they say they don't want to know. They don't want. Maybe this is what is happening in Russia, whereby someone says, no, this is Soviet Union. This is part of Soviet Union. And no, it has to remain. No one is going to change it or divide it. Open-mindedness, it's a process. So thank you, Your Excellency. This is my submission. Thank you very much for this topic. Thanks.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency Doreen Burunji, our COO in the class of Steele. While I want you to, Doreen, please take a note, First Lady, navigating in the underground. Please take a note. That's one of the subjects that I'm going to teach on coming up, navigating the underground. While you were speaking, I was remembering, hey, that's important, because His Excellency Dr. Ewers and myself, while we were in Austria, His Excellency was a little bit, I think he was shocked about how I was able to navigate the underground so easily, and just every place you're going. But I do research and everything like that to make those things happen. But it's interesting to note that globally, I've been to over 100 cities around the world, and I recognize that those areas that have underground, there's just one model. There's just a blueprint, and they use the same blueprint. There's no change. So that's a point that I want to share. And Doreen, as you rightfully mentioned, the younger generation are more apt to change. The younger generation. As a matter of fact, that's why I invest so much time in freely pouring into those youth of Africa in the upcoming youth classes that we have, because the younger generation are finding it easier to adapt. They find it easier to embrace change. They find it easier to say, hey, this is new. When I went to Chile, the older folks looked at me like, really, the older folks, but all the youth and younger persons in Chile, they were impressed. They were surprised. They were like, wow, a Black person, because you don't see many Black people in Chile. You do not. And I felt a little out of place, because I was like, oh my goodness, is somebody going to want to, I don't know, but I'm the one of the only Black persons that was there. I didn't see any Black persons while I was in Chile, in Santiago, Chile, and Vina del Mar. I didn't see any. When I was in Romania as well, I saw one single other Black person in Romania. Now, persons might say, oh, it's because you didn't go certain places. Well, of course, where I went to Transylvania. I went where Dracula is, where he hangs the bodies. I went all up that side. I went all down through Bucharest, all different parts of Romania, Tiger Mugesh, different places, and I didn't see any Black persons. What does it mean? Does it mean that I'm, not to be comfortable in those environments? No, that's not what it means. It means that if we want to embrace change and evolve and have our children comfortable with being in different environments, we have to be the start for them to do it. And as country leaders, we have to build relationships. A lot of persons don't have any heart or feeling about Ukraine. I've never even heard of Ukraine. I don't even know what Ukraine is all about. I don't know what the people are like. So there's no emotion. But when you get to know those people, I have many Ukraine friends, many, and leaders as well. And I have many Russian friends and leaders. Some of my top martial artists are Russians. But when you get to a place where you become embracive of the world and humanity, you develop a different empathy, a different heart. You don't play the Blacks against the white. Oh, if white people are killing themselves, we'll let them go on. They've been killing us for years. No, you don't behave like that. You see things different. We're all human. We're all destined for death and life here, successful or not successful. We're all the same. And I want in the class of Steele for us to be embracive of humanity. That's why I do this. I want you to see people from different regions and recognize that we're all the same as humans. And the prejudices that we have about individuals, you could show me 100 white people that don't like Black people. Of course you can. But I could show you 100 Black people that don't like white people. Of course I can. But I guess what? I could show you 100 Black people that don't like Black people. Come on. And the world goes on. But I could show you 100 white people that love Black people more than Black people love Black people. So the world is so diverse. And we have to appreciate the ability to receive individuals and open ourselves to cultures and dynamics is wonderful. If you go to Russia and Romania, the people that are going to love you because you're new to them. If you go to China, Obviously, there are lots of Black persons in China as well, but when you go to China, people are going to be very impressed with you as an individual, and they're going to want to know about you, your culture, your people. That's just the nature of life. All right. Just make sure you Google where you're going and you don't go to some of the places where you're not welcomed. That's all I will say. Your Excellency, Architect Olukoya, please, your take on this evening's class. And thank you so very much, guys, for being here and making this class really special. I'm enjoying this one. Your Excellency, Architect Olukoya, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
My goodness, you're looking fine, oh. Look at your face. Hey. Adiola. Hey. Go ahead, Your Excellency, Olukoya, please.
Yes, I thank you, Your Excellency, and all the excellencies in the house, including the First Lady, and of course my wife. I want to thank you very much for tonight's class. And two major things struck my mind as you were speaking. You know, we must be able to maneuver between two things at the same time. You know, you are open-minded, and when you become open-minded, once there is an opportunity for you to pick something very important to you that will add value to your life, and you'll be able to use it to add value to other people, you pick it, you adapt to it, and then you keep moving on. And as you move on, you should be flexible enough to be open-minded again in case you get something better that you can either drop what you have or add to what you have. So it is like a journey, and you must be able to move between hot and cold, light and heavy, you know, tough and light, you know, just like you said, you know, when you were in that fora and somebody was hitting at you, of course, at that time, you will have bring the heat on as well, but you decided not to bring the heat, rather you chose the cold. So we must be able at every point in time to maneuver, you know, between, should I say, two worlds at the same time, and keep maneuvering, moving, adapting, dropping, picking, moving, because it's just what humanity is all about. Or else we become, like you said, somebody can become rigid, somebody can become stagnant, somebody can plateau. And we don't want to plateau. We don't want to come to a point where we become saturated, that nothing new can come in. And once nothing new can come in, then it means that we cannot give out something new. So we must at every point in time be growing, adapting, flexible, but at the same time, when you get something that is working, something that is useful to you, you adapt to it. You don't say, I don't want this, I don't like this, I'm not used to this, because, and I know that one way or the other, the issue of change will still come up at every point in time. We must be flexible enough to adapt to change. And that is what makes life exciting. Yes. And that is why we can fit in into any circle, fit in into, you know, any place. You know, something funny happened, you know, when we called, when is breakfast, the person said 10:30. So I now say, how can it be 10:30? So apparently he didn't hear the question properly. He thought we say, when will breakfast be over? So we now went around to 10. And, you know, they were almost rounding up breakfast. You know, so I now felt if I should keep quiet, I would look stupid. I now asked for the manager of the hotel. It's a big hotel in Dubai. So I said, when we called from our room, we were told 10:30. Do you know the manager apologized and then took us to a special table and then served us everything we needed to eat, even though it was past breakfast time, you know, he attended to us with apology. Now, there are some people that may not have the confidence to walk up and express. Rather, they will go behind and start complaining and say this is a bad, and they will just give their own wrong opinion, not knowing that they are wrong. So you see, we must give people allowance and allow them to be able to, you know, should I say, give people benefit of the doubt. And I feel this is part of the flexibility you are talking about. We should be able, open-minded enough to, if we are not happy, we should express our displeasure, but in a very polite way.
Yes.
And, you know, and not to go and quarrel, but to just say, we were told this, and this was, and we are surprised because we know breakfast is from 6:30. And so, you know, just as simple as that can create a wrong impression, and then we will go project ourselves, you know, in bad light. And you know, while we were there, that was when they came and they say, you are from which part of the country? And I said, Nigeria. They said, no, you are not from Nigeria, you know, because the approach was different, you know, and they say we are very quiet, we are not loud and things like that. So I believe that there is a way that when we go out there, even if we are not going to be open-minded and all of that, let's be open-minded for the sake that we don't want to project anything we represent in bad light. Because at the end of the day, there is a link to every one of us, and we are linked to somewhere, we are linked to a source. And many of us will represent our various countries. And also we must never forget that we also represent the class of Steele, and we must be able to represent who and where we stand for in proper light. And I think that's what this open-minded, you know, being adaptive, and what tonight's class is trying to project to us. And I believe that as we make adjustments where we need to make necessary adjustments, we'll be better for it rather than the opposite. Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm Architect Olukoya Olusegun from Nigeria. Thank you for this opportunity, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Architect Olusegun Olukoya. And I celebrate your testimony. And one of the reasons why I sincerely celebrate your testimony is because there's some points that you said that I don't want us to pass that are critical. Immediately that you were approached and this issue was resolved, the first question that was asked is, where are you from? And I want you to appreciate this, all of us. If you're going to become globally relevant, that's the first thing you need to remember. You're an ambassador for your country. Without Her Excellency, His Excellency, without anything, once you have that passport, you are now an ambassador when you leave your land. And however you treat yourself or carry yourself is going to be labeled on your people. And it is going to be reflective on how people see your people. They're Nigerians that, because they're so loud and they're not aggressive in their loudness, they're excited and they're excitable, and that's their culture. But when you go to certain countries in the world, you scare the living daylights out of people, and people call the police or the authorities because they are afraid. And then when you try to explain that you were not doing anything wrong, you do it so excitedly that you even scare the police who come, because the police don't even expect that level of disregard. Very interestingly, when I was in Dubai, and I know you were in Dubai, Your Excellency Olukoya, and His Excellency Dr. Yours with me as well. You can't jaywalk in Dubai. You cannot. There are cameras that are watching you, and an officer would come and he would give you a fine. He would give you a fine. and tell you go and pay it, he would not even accompany you to go and pay it. He would just give it to you and put a mark in your passport. And you would laugh, what foolishness. And when you get to the airport, my friend, and you put your passport inside of that document, that check, the first thing they're going to do is check, how were you behaving in the country? A report. Because that police officer has the authority to put a mark on your passport that you owe a fine for $1,500 for jaywalking. And when you get there, they will tell you at the airport, you have to pay a fine of $1,500 or whatever it is. And if you don't pay it, you can't leave the country. So what I'm saying is, what I am actually saying is, you're watched. You're an ambassador. I'm mentoring ambassadors. I'm raising up, and we are mentoring a generation of ambassadors who are going to behave differently and who are going to travel with groups that when you see the group going the wrong way, you're going to politely and professionally call them aside and says, we can't do this. Equally, if that restaurant manager has said to you, I'm sorry, sir, we're not able to facilitate doing your breakfast. You've missed it today. You have to take breakfast tomorrow and not make an error. You will equally have to walk away and be thankful that he acknowledged you and apologize to him for your error, because he might look at your character, your behavior, and think, yeah, I can allow them to go over because they're polite, they're professional. But if you came the wrong way, he could have simply said to you, no, we will not do it, because breakfast is done, the staff has to clean up and prepare and set the tables for lunch, so we cannot do it. But because of your character and your attitude and your behavior, he gave you an opportunity. So come on, class of Steele, let's celebrate His Excellency. Let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate Nigeria, the new Nigeria that we're going to be seeing, and the new Africa with individuals who know how to behave appropriately. Well done, Your Excellency. And you're doing me proud. You're doing me proud. I see Your Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu, please unmute yourself and give your take on today's class.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Bishop Dr. Mikey C. I salute you this evening, and so also do I salute Her Excellency, Steele, and His Excellency, Dr. Bernard U.S., the Chief of Protocol, His Excellency, Architect Olukoya, you are welcome. I also noticed that you have not been in class for several weeks. Let me put it in this way. And I salute the CEO of our time, Ambassador Doreen, and our Zionist Ambassador Emeka, and all the excellencies in the house. Sorry, I'm not able to bring everybody on board to the matter of my greetings. It is of a fact that being in another part of the globe and you want to travel to another part of the globe, it is in the best way for you to learn what goes on there before you go to the place. And I'm very much happy about the way Your Excellency have brought up this topic, and then how we can look to somebody's country from your window of Google Earth.com. In this era, when people are using mobile phones and they are in Accra and they tell you they are in Lagos, and they are in London, they say, oh, I'm just in the US or another place. With this map direction, you can figure out and see whether there's a hotel nearby, actually, or whether the house is a story building. Well, what I want to say is that it's good to learn. It's good to learn. Now, today, I don't know why over all these years I've not figured out checking that out. I'm so glad to learn it today. And before I travel out again, I think I will take the opportunity and then study what pertains in that country, not only in books, but what I see physically when I click on the map. And you also talked about being open-mindedness. Well, in this world, I think it is not the best to listen to what people tell you about others or what is going on in other places or around you. I think the best thing is to notice that since you are uh, on this planet Earth and God has created you, you have looked to your fellow neighbor as also a human being. And whatever issue that goes around, just take it to be that if you were in that person's shoes, what will you do? Or what do you expect everybody to do for you? So that what you want others to do for you, you do the same for others. And then you look at the global situation and then you think that nothing happens in your area, so you are safe. No, it's not like that. Look at what is happening in Russia and Ukraine. Over the days, I was just telling myself that if this one is not taken care, if this, excuse me to say, what is going on, that nonsense does not stop. It will affect the whole world, and it can bring in World War III. When we were thinking of those who were in World War II, what was happening to them, may God forbid for us to enter into World War III. Whatever is happening to our people over there is also happening to us. We are on the same global world, and we have to think of each other, that everybody deserves to have peace, and everybody deserves to have a genuine living. Thank you, Your Excellency, for today's message. I am Her Excellency Ambassador Bishop Dr. Kamfotedu from Ghana. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, Dr. Comfort Adu. Well done. Your Excellency, Dr. Yours, our Chief of Protocols, your take on today's class, and what is your opinions and thoughts about today's class and session?
A pleasant good evening, Your Excellency, Dr. Michael Steele and Lady Jenny, and all the Excellency in the house. It was an honor, sir, to listen today with openness, open mind, and welcoming new ideas. My take on it, the process of changing to better suit a situation. It is necessary to do our homework. You know, when I'm traveling, I travel with my file. It is natural for me. The job I used to do, I come from that background. When I travel, I do my homework. I have a file, I get all the information, and don't take it for granted when you go to the immigration office or whatever country. They can ask you questions. You haven't got time to be going through your phone. You haven't got time to be looking there. Every paper they ask for, I could present it. The man, he was so overwhelmed with me with the paper. He said, okay, sir, I got it. And so a lot of time, openness is something that we have to equip ourselves. And for those of you who haven't done much traveling, myself, and I'll highlight two things that happened to me while traveling openness. When I went to Dubai, I think I went to Dubai about 3 or 4 times on top of my head, I can remember. But the one I went with Dr. Michael Steele, one of the days, we have days where we can go and do our own thing. And I wanted to explore Dubai. So I called a taxi driver and I said, no, Dubai cannot be like this. Dubai with all these fancy buildings and all the fancy street and all the fancy malls and all the fun. I want to see where the real people, the poorer people, the working people. And I can't remember what they called it. I think the labor, either they called it labor place or labor something. It's labor something. And they drove me to where the workers live, miles and miles and what we would call in the UK council estate. And you see they put all the clothes out on the balcony and all the different things lying around and all the cars and so on. I said, I know Dubai could not be so glitter and glamour. There has to be a back street with a rough side of Dubai. And I explore. I had the openness to wanted to know where are the people that do the cleaning, the people who are the servants, the people who work in the shop. And I explore. My openness, my mind allows me to do that.
Yes.
Another experience in openness in traveling as well, as you talk about Google Earth. I went to Stuttgart in Germany, first time. I did the same thing there, openness. I wanted to do more. I wanted to know their culture. I wanted to know, they're so different. And I remember I met some chaps from Nigeria who lives in Germany, and they said, we envy you folks, so Black people who live in the UK, because the opportunity that we get in the UK and the freedom, they don't get that as an ethnic person in Germany. And I was saying, wow, I didn't realize. And they were laying out things, what we get opportunity, and they were all trying to come to the UK. So openness and learning is a big thing. The first time I've been to Washington, DC, and when I saw it was me and my late wife went to Washington, DC, we stand before the White House. We looked around the White House. Well, we weren't allowed because they stopped visitors going into the White House. It used to be open to a certain section open to the public. But what I didn't realize, and that was openness as well, there's a slum behind the White House. So all glit and glamour, all this beautiful big white building, all the security setting, but behind the White House, it was a slum. Can you imagine that? And oh, that was something for you to Google. Google, I don't know if you're allowed because you have to be political correct. Google the White House and look behind the White House if it's still there. But that's what I've been informed, said there's a slum behind the White House, and you would never dream of that. And so openness, what you're talking about, in increasing our knowledge and in having room for new ideas, it's so important, because when you're tunnel vision and you're only thinking one way, and I'm sure, Dr. Steele, you've come across this. Some people have never been out of UK, but they're telling you about Dubai. Dubai is a terrorist country, or you don't go to this country because Nigeria is a house of fraud, or don't go to they have people that tells you so many things. So if you don't do your own homework, if you don't do your own research, fear will enter your heart. Fear will enter you, and you said you can't do it. However, as ambassadors, peace ambassadors, in the class of Steele and all the things that we do, humanitarian work, we are not in the position wherever the UN send you, you'll have to go. I'm sure there's in the UN, the war that's in Ukraine at the moment, the peace ambassadors are there. I mean, I don't know much you know about that, Dr. Steele, but I'm sure the UN is sending people there. So you will go into crime countries, we'll go into war countries, and it's not going to be a bed of roses. So thank you for the eye opener, and Google Map I haven't used for a very long time, but you just kind of open my mind again. And we have a sense, a lack of knowledge, we perish. If we don't have the knowledge, if you don't have the information, we can't go forward. There's room for technology. And I'm old school. Technology, sir, is something, don't kill until the breath leaves your body. I'll give you a final one. We had a lot of the funerals they're doing these days, they have it on Zoom. And somebody in Canada saw us burying somebody the other day, and they said, oh, you guys in UK, you're behind time. I said, what do you mean? He said, we don't use rope putting down the coffin down into the thing. We have certain machine, you click it onto the outside of the box, and then it lowers the body down into the ground. And I said, oh my God, look at us. We're supposed to be first world Western Ireland. And they were saying we are old fashioned, using rope to hang down the body. So we ourselves as well, Britain is very, what is good, very cultural and set in the colonial Great Britain, Britannia rule the world, but they're set in a lot of ways too. So even us in UK, there's certain things we are behind. And I don't know if Dr. Steele will agree or disagree, but there's certain things, it's traditional, it's custom, it's the Britishness, and they're not changing. I hand back to you. I'm Donald Yours, the Chief Protocol of Class Steele.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, Dr. Ewers. Always stimulating to hear your input in the classes. One thing that I will say in light of the class of Steele, I've been in computer technology for, and I can honestly say over 40 years. I'm 50, and I was involved in computers from the time I was 8, 9 years old. The first computer actually we had was a Timex Sinclair 1000. And this was in 1983 when I passed for the Lord School. I can still remember it. And I have been, I've been in a hackers fraternity for a lot of years. I'm very, very versed on technology, even before cryptocurrencies and Bitcoins, all those things. I was involved with computers all that time, and security as well. And I have learned a lot of things that have created the environment why I want the class of Steele to be kind of secret. I want to give tools to you guys that is going to cause you guys to look at the rest of the world and want to, the world is going to be wowed at you. Why? Because how many of you know sometimes the best things in life can be free? How many of you know that? Be honest with me. How many of you know that that's the truth? Sometimes the best things in life can be free. You just have to know and have relationship and understand the dynamics. And that's why I'm giving you guys tools secretly in every class that I do. And those of you who are discerning, when you get those tools, you guys are just going to be like, wow, I didn't even know that that was available to make my life easy and to avert me from being frauded or taken advantage of by others. That's the truth. So those are things that we will be doing in the class of Steele. Equally, there's some places that you guys might be lauding and so excited about going. And Her Excellency Zionist and His Excellency Dr. Ewers can tell you the truth. You don't have a clue if you think that the UK is an easy place and you're looking forward to being here, or America. The blessed place in the world you can be is where you know the terrain, the environment, and the people. If you want something from the UK, from the US, from Russia, from anywhere in the world, take a trip, develop the understanding, and go and come. But truth be told, don't create an environment of thinking you're going to move into one environment and support the other. It doesn't work like that very easily. When you've come into one environment thinking that you're going to raise your level to be able to help there, remember, somebody looking at you working for £1,000 a month, and you sit down and multiply £1,000 a month by your Naira. Oh my God. But I will equally tell you, the expenses that that person is going to have in their own house might be £1,005. So they have absolutely nothing even for themselves. And a lot of times persons come and they see things and they don't understand. So let me kind of help you in the class of Steele to appreciate this. I want you to be globally minded, globally relevant. Open your mind, open your thinking, open your understanding, and recognize your power and your abilities that you have are good. In Nigeria, you could be the next great leader. In Ghana, in South Africa, wherever you are in Africa, because of your passport, you could be the next greatest leader with the right understanding, the right mindset. Come to this country, you'll be a slave to start the process. And the way to the top that you see some individuals, he's in the UK and he's in this position or she's in that position. If they were honest and told you the journey to getting there, a lot of you would realize that you would have wasted so much of your life trying to get to that place, that you would have been better served staying home and building your character, your integrity, your team, your network, and growing. Taking a couple of trips and visits so that you could expand yourself. But always remember, where you are planted is the best place for you. That's why I'm giving you opportunities in the class of Steele to travel. I want your awareness to be opened. Most of my business partners and friends around the world, they just have places where they go and stay in other countries while they're doing work, but they always are at home. They're never in those countries, they're home. A lot of you leave Africa and you go and make the other man's world better, stronger, and then you cry down yours that you have abandoned and left. When you could have stayed, and the same very skills that you gave to somebody, you could have used them where you were. If you just learned a few tools, how can I be effective where I am? You don't have to beat down the walls, and you don't have to be in the environment that everybody else is in. You do not. Adiola has a school and she's going to have many more. His Excellency Architect Olukoya, we're going to open so many doors for him in Dubai, in the Middle East, and throughout America. But the truth of the matter is, the day that I would hear him say to me, Your Excellency, I don't ever want to go back to Nigeria, it would break my heart. And the reason why it would break my heart is because a lot of people are leaving their homeland and going to no man's land, and they're losing themselves and giving individuals at home the wrong opinion about being in that land. I want to encourage you to be the best you can be today. Not when you leave your country and go somewhere else, today. It starts with your attitude, your character, and it also starts with the opportunities that you embrace, opportunities to travel, opportunities to visit places and learn things. And I hope that this little role that the class of Steele is endeavoring to play in your life and in the life of the next generation would be an advantage to you. Watch carefully. Don't just be in the class of Steele. Look carefully at what I'm doing. Mimic what I'm doing in some cases for your own organization, your own people, so that you can be better equipped to serve the next generation. I want to acknowledge Her Excellency Margaret Downs. Margaret, just give your take briefly on this evening's class. I apologize for taking up so much time. I didn't even realize that time has gone so fast. Forgive me, but I think this evening's class was really well deserved. Your Excellency Margaret, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, my Bishop, Dr. Marcus Steele, and have the First Lady, Jenny Steele, and other excellencies in the house. Thank you so much for today's class. I'm sorry my video is not on. You are the one that taught me that if I'm having problems with the connections, I should put off my video. So I'm learning and it's working out for me. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for today's class, my Bishop. Thank you for carrying us along with you. Thank you for making time to give us a lot of tips for life and then for us to also step them down. Thank you for this class, the adaptive thinking, and then the issue of being open-minded. You know, the world is full of crisis today and a lot of things that one sits down and you begin to judge and judge and judge and judge. And I've also learned that I need to be observant and really observe things, observe the situations, and also not to be easily offended. Yeah. You know, now in Nigeria, it's a kind of, our Naira is gone. Every day you go to the market, things have gone up. You go to the market, you come back and think as if your money was stolen. But when you sit down to calculate, you get it right. And you say, I shouldn't be offended. But thank you that I'm learning today that I shouldn't be offended when I get things like that. Thank you, because by doing all these things, I will evolve. Yes. And also I will think critically and be rational about the situations of life. Yes. Thank you so much, my bishop. I won't take much time. Other people have said a lot of things. And like you said, time is gone. And I'm going to step it down to my women, my youths. For my daughters, they are in the class already. So I appreciate God for that. So thank you so much for investing a lot in us. God bless you. And this is Margaret Ahmed from Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Margaret, for that. And we are putting a lot of amazing things. Margaret Ahmed for Homemakers Women's Development Initiative. And currently, I will tell you so that you're aware, currently there are debates in the United Nations in New York pertaining to persons with vaccinations and making it mandatory, and some are for it, some are against it. As a matter of fact, a lot of government officials are not going to New York because of that mandatory vaccination requirement. And it's causing some rift in the international communities because to some degree, it appears to be infringing on individuals' rights of choice. And it's a very strange paradox that the rights of choice to vaccinate or not vaccinate is for every individual to make that decision, but some places it's mandatory. New York is one of those places. And Mr. Guterres, who is the head of the UN, is at the place of saying, but he doesn't agree that it should be mandatory. Because at the end of the day, you can't tell a world leader, you have to get vaccinated if you need to come into the office to work. So there's some dynamics and debates that are going on around that, but we're still putting a lot of things in place at this moment. So with that being said, Margaret Ahmed for Homemakers Women's Development Initiative, we've got a lot of great things that are going to be happening. Congratulations, Margaret, on what is going to be happening to you and some of the other ladies in Dubai that we will be announcing very soon once we put some pen to paper. But again, well done, Margaret.
Thank you.
Adiola, you were I think saving the last for best, the best for last. Your Excellency Adiola, your voice, please, and then we will be closing.
Good evening, Your Excellency. Good evening to the First Lady.
Good evening.
And good evening to everyone in the house. You know, everyone has actually spoken, and I know that our time is fast spent, so I'm not going to take our time. You know, but you know, well, with what you taught us today, I was really, I mean, this particular aspect, all the aspects you spoke about really struck my mind. But you know, when you said something about adaptive thinking, that the ability to recognize unexpected situation quickly and consider various possible response. You know, it just reminded me when my daughter and I first found ourselves in the city of Atlanta, and you know, we had no card, the only thing we had is, you know, the person who booked our hotel for us actually booked it, you know, far place than we were expecting. And, you know, and it was not in town. And we had to find our way immediately. We had to think of what to do, because we could not call Uber, because if we're going to call Uber, we have to pay, with card and all those stuff. So we had to, okay, what do? We went back to the airport. We joined the train, we joined the bus, and they drop us. We ask, okay, where should we go? The person said, okay, when you drop at this place, you drop at this place. And that was how we made it to our hotel that night. I can imagine if we didn't think of what to do and we just, okay, let's stay. We'll stay in the airport. It would have been disastrous for us to add new people in a new place. And what you showed us today, the Google, what is it called? It's something that has been there, and I've been seeing it, I've been using it, but I don't use it all the time. But I saw the reason, for us to make use of it. At least get familiar with where you're going to. Something you can you see how excited I was when you put the address and I saw the name of our school came up. It's something that I had done in the past, but seeing it this evening, helped me to understand that there is need for me to learn new things. There's need for every one of us, to learn new things, and then become adjusted to new condition. We shouldn't be rigid. We shouldn't stick just to one thing. Okay, this is what I've learned from the day I was born, and this is where it should be done. No, there is need for us, to learn new things and then apply it to our lives, apply it to our situation, and definitely we'll see change. We'll see changes. Thank you so much. I appreciate the privilege given to me this evening. I'm Adeola Olukoya from Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Adiola, for sharing your thoughts, and definitely we're going to do a lot of good things together in the class of Steele. And again, if you had Google Earth and you had Google Earth where you were going to stay, you could compare where you're staying to where you need to get, and you would have had an idea of the distance, etc. So it's all learning. And it's very important to know the tools that you have at your disposal when you're going to travel. Chuka Emeka, you're being in and out, in and out. I know your system has been giving you a lot of trouble. Your Excellency Chuka Emeka, can you unmute yourself? You're okay? Before we close, I see you in and out because of your system network.
The Excellency in the house. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay. Good evening, Your Excellency, Bishop Dr. Janice. All the Excellencies in the house. Let me not take a long protocol. Minded. Being open-minded is needed in every life for someone to. I come across a lot of people who doesn't want to mention a particular new idea that is different or don't want to try it. So for the grace that I have side, I've added to my knowledge that my aim are equally but a lot of people do not know about it. It's quite limitless of the truth. They're limitless. I remember during my HN.
All right. I think it is a little bit. Forgive me, Chuka Emeka.
My project.
Chuka, forgive me, but I think it's a little bit pointless trying to record what you're stating at the moment, because your network is not allowing us to get any semblance of what you're saying. One, is it the same for everybody? You're trying to make a statement and it has no, we cannot understand what you're saying at all. So I want to apologize, and I hope that you get a better network connection for Wednesday when we have class. I will allow you to share on Wednesday, but right now your network is not allowing you to have a reasonable contribution to what we're doing today. With that being said, I want to thank everybody. First Lady Jeannie Steele, could you close the class this evening, just any point, or should I just go on and close? Your Excellency Jeannie Steele. Are you on mute, my dear?
Good evening, everyone, and blessings upon you all. That's all I would just like to add is blessing everyone, saying good evening, sending you my love. I don't have any notices for today per se. I hope you all enjoyed the class, and you can look into our WhatsApp chat, and I would put some further information for you there. Blessings again on you. What I wanted to ask is, Stephen Abu, did he make a contribution? I didn't hear him, so that's why I'm just inquiring if he did.
Yes, he was the first person to speak.
Oh, okay.
First.
Wonderful. Okay, well, I guess I didn't hear him because maybe I moved away from my desk at that point in time. Anyway, blessings be upon you all, and look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. And I would send you some information in our WhatsApp group, and we'll chat further there.
Definitely. Thank you so very much, my dear. Well, just so that you all know, that's what the WhatsApp group is for, because First Lady will send you some clips and some different things and tools so that you can make yourself more equipped. That's the secret of the inner circle and the WhatsApp group. Love you dearly, guys. Have yourself a fantastic evening. Zionist and Makakari, I'm going to call you immediately after. I'll give you a call after class. Thank you guys so very much. Have a fantastic evening and a good night's rest. Good night and God bless you. Chuka Omeka, you and I will speak tomorrow at your convenience. And I do apologize for your network challenges, but you and I will speak again tomorrow during the daytime. Good night and God bless everybody.
Good night. God bless everybody.
Good night.